Hello and welcome back to Euro Truck Simulator 2. Thank you very much for joining me in today's video, and you join me today in Brussels for part 2 of our journey where we are taking some tractors from Dover over to Frankfurt. Now, at the end of the last video, if you haven't seen the last video, I do recommend you go watch it just for the first part of the journey, but at the end of the last video I ended up getting into a slight bit of bother, so we have diverted over to Brussels. But today we are going to be continuing on our journey. I'm not going to be talking about diesel and biofuels or anything like that. That was a spur of the moment thing, unless of course I've seen in the comments that someone wants me to talk about this, and then I'll do it once I do the next set of recordings. But in today's video we're going to be continuing over to Frankfurt, and I think what I'm going to talk about is going to be, I think I'll talk about some of my experiences on the road with silly drivers, but also sometimes how easy it is to sometimes make a mistake as well yourself. So it's really important not to sometimes judge. I say sometimes judge, really it's not really important. It's not something that you should be doing anyway. You shouldn't really judge people. You're not a judge. You're not in a position of authority to judge somebody, unless you are in that position of authority, of course, like a judge or a magistrate or a police officer who has to arrest somebody or anything like that, or a parent to a child, all that kind of stuff. But really it's more about how when someone seems to have made a genuine mistake, maybe don't judge them, but also you'll also notice when someone is a complete idiot driver. So there is also that. So I just want to share some stories about some of my travels. So make sure you stay tuned, and I'll get on with some stories, some that I may have told before, some that are more recent on my more recent travels. Again, no judgment, just facts. Actually, I am probably going to say that person was an idiot, but in certain cases you'll see why that might just be justified. Okay, back out on the road. So I'm going to preface this by, I have certainly made some mistakes whilst driving, completely unintentional. So sometimes it happens. It does occasionally happen, and nobody is free from making those mistakes. But I do try to be as careful as I of course can be. And speaking of mistakes, you will all, if you've seen the last video, you will know I made a colossal mistake in the last video in this. We are now in Flanders. Okay, great, thank you. So, yes, driving. Now, one of the things that I think is really, really important when driving, and this is where I think drivers are being very stupid, is lights. I think lights are incredibly important. Now, with the invention, or I say the invention, with the advent of, I think I'm turning off here. With the advent of I think I'm turning off all the way actually. Here we go. With the advent of auto lights, with the advent of daytime running lights, things have changed substantially. And what I've noticed is that in the past you would have somebody may have forgot to put on their lights. It's happened before. I've done it. I say I've forgotten to put on my lights. It's where it's been a situation where lights are maybe an iffy part. Do you switch them on? Do you not switch them on? And then, you know, someone's either flashed at you thinking, okay, no, you really should be having them on at this point in time. But other people have not flashed at you because they think, it's fine. So at that point, and this was when I had started driving some years ago, and you sort of have to get used to when to switch on your headlights. Do you want them on? Do you have them on too early? Do you have them on too late? Things like that. I've gotten used to that. I've not made a mistake with my headlights in a very, very long time. So I say that's fine, and hopefully I never do. I tend to now look at reflections, for example. I'll look at light levels, and also look at cars around me, especially the darker color cars, and say, right, how can I see a darker color car now? Even if they do not have their headlights on, or even side lights on, I'm looking at a darker color car and saying, can I see it? And if I'm struggling to see a darker colored vehicle, I will then say, right, if I'm struggling to see that vehicle, someone might be struggling to see me. Therefore, let me switch on, at the very least, let me switch on my side lights. And so I go ahead and do that. So that is how I determine lighting. And obviously, if the sun is behind me, I'll switch on my headlights when the sun is low. For those people who live further south, you may never have this issue, but certainly in Britain and certainly in Scandinavia, that you have this issue. This is why daytime running lights were invented in the first place, is that the sun is so low it's difficult to see a vehicle. So I will say, yes, okay, I will have a vehicle maybe, or say a vehicle may be unable to see me, so I will make sure that I will switch on my lights to ensure that that vehicle can see me. Simple as. Not a problem. However, with, as I said, the advent of daytime running lights, more and more often, people do not switch on their lights anymore. And also this automatic light. So someone might have maybe switched off, maybe their car's gone into service and they've switched off their lights. Okay. Nobody checks that anymore. I say nobody. I'm sure people do. But there are an increasing number of people that do not check this. And so you are driving around in the dark with daytime running lights on and nothing else. So therefore, from the back, your car has no lighting. Your number plate isn't lit. There is no lighting whatsoever. And from the front, you have these really, really bright, blinding LEDs. Now, remember, daytime running lights are incredibly bright. When it gets dark and you switch on your normal headlights, daytime running lights will dim. There is a resistor in there. There is a variable resistor that will swap, or an additional resistor that will swap the daytime running lights to a higher resistance, therefore giving less oh, I need to get into a different lane. I cannot. I'm so sorry. That guy's coming up so quickly. We'll put in more resistance, therefore giving you a dimmer light. Great. That's great when people have their automatic lights on or have switched on their lights. Now, I have manual headlights. I could swap it to automatic, but personally, I just do not see the point. Automatic headlights are really useful. I have driven cars, and I do drive cars with automatic headlights. Now, I'm not here to say that automatic headlights are a bad thing and no one should ever use them. No, they are a good thing, in the sense that they switch on when it is deemed too dark. That is a good thing. But I think we're going over the River Rhine, right? But if someone has switched them off and people don't switch them on, then what are we going... It's really difficult to see, and it's blinding. It's dangerous. I'm going to try and do a screenshot here. No, that's email. It's dangerous, and I have come across many situations nowadays where this is what people do. Trying to get a good angle here. Right, for the angle, if I do that... There we go. That looks decent-ish, and in fact, everything there should do the trick. There we go. Right, time to continue. So, that's one issue I have. Just please, people, I'm sure viewers watching this are either too young to drive or probably are more responsible. Please check your lights. Make sure that you have the correct lights on at the correct time. On top of that, it is not, and this is just a UK thing, I'm not sure what they're called in other countries, but over here we have Mot Tests, which is, they just ensure that everything on the vehicle is operating as it should. I really don't know what lane I'm supposed to be in. I think it's this lane. I really do think it's this lane, but I might be wrong. No, I'm correct. Oh, thank goodness for that. So, MOT tests, yes, do check, to make sure your exhaust is proper, to make sure your lights are proper, your wipers working, your windscreen washer, all of that kind of stuff. Your headlights are lined up, and by lined up I mean aligned. It is not the responsibility of the MOT test to do this. It is your responsibility as the owner of a vehicle to do these tests. The amount of times I have now seen vehicles with lights that are either blown, and I'm talking headlights blown, or tail lights blown, or brake lights. The other day, I was driving behind somebody who had no working brake lights, so when he hit the brakes, or she, I really no idea who it was kind of dark. When they hit the brakes, I had no idea. And obviously, it's a good thing that I keep a reasonable distance away, because had I not, if they braked hard, I would have gone into the back of them. Now, to be fair, had I not and they braked hard, there is a chance I would have gone into the back of them anyway, because they have no brake lights, I have no indication, and light is the best indication when you're driving because of how quickly you are accustomed to responding to it. So you are, in Britain, we are very, very accustomed, and around the world, you're very accustomed to responding to lights. And also, I did see a train going up along that viaduct at high speed. That was great. There's another one. Oh, it's actually an ice train. That's pretty cool. They've got the colours and everything. So we are accustomed to responding to light. Not having brake lights is a big deal. Okay, I'm struggling up this hill. I'm struggling up this hill. I'm struggling up this hill. Come on, you can do this. You can do this. There we go. And so, yes, it is not the responsibility of an MOT test to check this for you. Headlights out of alignment. And normally you see this on older cars, perhaps cheaper cars as well. Cars like Vauxhall Corsas, for example. Now I understand a Vauxhall Corsa is a very good car as a first car for a young driver. It's great. It's cheap. I do not particularly like them, but yes, they are cheap cars, useful, right? As a young driver, it is also your responsibility to check to make sure your headlights are in alignment, and you can tell when they're not in alignment just by looking at them. All you've got to do is park up next to a wall and switch on your lights. That's all you've got to do. Nice and simple. Maybe you don't know this. Maybe this is a new thing. Nobody's told you that you could check it like this. This is how you check them. You'll notice if something is out of alignment very, very quickly, and please be aware that it is important to get that in alignment, simply because if you do not, you are dazzling and potentially causing a lot of danger to other road users. So again, this one, when it comes to those sorts of headlights things, I do not think the drivers are necessarily idiots. I truly do not. It could be that they do not know, and they do not know how to very easily check. So do check those. But For those people who let all their brake lights blow, they've got problems with their system, and you know that you've got problems with your electric system, because when you start indicating short circuits, your indicators will flash quickly, all of that kind of stuff. You will notice problems with your system. Check these. Check your lights. It doesn't have to be every day, but if you're going on a longer journey, or if you haven't driven your car for a while, check your lights. Give it a good look. Doesn't take too long. Doesn't take too long at all. But it is very, very important. So that's one of the things that I've started seeing a lot more on the roads. People do not switch on their lights thinking their daytime running lights are good enough. They are not. Those kind of people, I will say, are rather stupid. To run around with daytime running lights, and you know that they are daytime running lights because they do not illuminate anywhere near as well as headlights. Their beam patterns are completely different. You know this. You can tell you're running with daytime running lights, and you do nothing about it. That's stupidity. People who let their light bulbs fail, absolutely crazy. People with their headlights out of alignment, it depends. If you know it's out of alignment and you're not doing anything about it, that's dangerous. If you do not know how to check it, and you cannot tell because you do not run your car in the evening so much, and every now and then you run it in the evening and you're not parking up next to a wall, you do not know, but it is dangerous. And the last kind of people with the lights, is really, really dangerous. People driving with full beams on. And this is something that's starting to become more common now as well. For some reason, people seem to want to drive with their full beams. I think maybe in America you might call this high beams, or in other countries. Over here we call it full beam. Driving with full beams on is very, very dangerous. Just do not do it, please. It's a simple thing, and you can tell when your full beams are on. You suddenly can see a lot more of the road. Other road users are flashing at you, and also normally there's an icon, and I'm going to show you that icon now as a matter of practice. Have a look at this icon. That's my headlights. You see the icon at the top of my display? The icon at the top of my display with the next to the time with the green light, or the green circle, semicircle with the 3 lines pointing down. That's my dipped. Right, here are my full beams. See the blue light that's just come on next to my tachometer? I don't know if you can see that. It's a little dark, but hopefully you can see that light. That is my full beams. I'm on the wrong road. Great. That's full beams. You can tell when they're on. It's important to know when they're on. Oh, rubbish. Right, I'm going to have to do a turnaround somewhere. Time to go a little bit faster. Hopefully it's not too much trouble. The next turnaround should not be too far, surely. Apparently I'm heading towards Munich, Nuremberg. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. I'm not going to speed too much. I could go a lot faster, but I'm not going to. So that is a really big annoyance. And, of course, dangerous. Other things, indicators. I know BMW drivers do not like to indicate, but please, other people, start indicating. It isn't that difficult to indicate. And just check to make sure you're indicating the right direction. Yes, if you have to make a really sudden movement, then I completely accept that you may not have time to indicate. Let's say you've got to do a sudden lane change or anything like that. I accept you do not have time to indicate. That makes perfect sense. But I was at a roundabout, and there was a lady in a Volkswagen Passat, and she is indicating to go around the roundabout, so she's indicating right. Perfectly normal, perfectly fine. I say, okay, that makes perfect sense. You're indicating right, you're going to go around the roundabout. Perfect. She then pulls off left, off the junction that I was about to take, without indicating left. She is still indicating right. I'm thinking, that is just very, very dangerous. Is this a junction? Oh, where are these junctions? Here we go. Here's a junction coming up. Good, good, good. Is this a junction I want? Apparently not. This is not a junction I'm after. Where am I going? I need to check this in the world map. Okay, I'm going that. Oh, unfortunately, right, there should have been a way that way. Okay, so I'll join up there, come back around, and then turn back. And we were right there. We were in Frankfurt. Should only take me a few more minutes. That's not a problem. But yes, indicating also really, really important. I know it seems like a trivial thing. You know, indicate to go around when you're turning. People just do not do it anymore. I think everyone has become a BMW driver. That being said, the other day I was on the motorway and I saw a BMW driver driving, always indicating, every single lane change indicated, and I thought, that's fantastic. In the meantime, I saw a couple of Volkswagen drivers, not a single indicator, cutting in and out of lanes. So yes, that's a couple of stories about being on the roads. Again, I'm not saying this because I think everybody on the road are idiots, but it helps other road users to understand. For indicators, it helps them understand your intentions. What are you intending to do? I intend to go left, I intend to go right. That is vital. It is vital information. Am I supposed to go here? I think so. I'm not going to make that mistake again. This is how they work. You have these little slip roads. Absolutely vital information to do something like that. So spend the time doing it. I'm not going to make the same mistake I made last time. These are a lot steep, a lot tighter than they seem. And with the lights, it's not, as I said, it's not the responsibility of an MOT test and an MOT test center to tell you, oh, they've failed. You need to check for yourselves. It's important to have a look at them and say, are my lights working? Especially if you're taking a long journey or you've not driven your car for a while, or, you know, winter's coming, right? Winter's on its way in, so it's now time that your lights are going to be on a lot more often, so you need to check them. Really important. That was a really good lane join. That was fantastic. So very, very important to do these things. I'm not going to go into too many more, you know, of drivers being stupid, cutting people up. That seems to happen everywhere. But again, it's seeming to happen with a little bit more frequency nowadays than it used to. Perhaps some driving etiquette has gone out the window, perhaps driving tests have changed, or perhaps people are just forgetting how to drive because they rely so much on technology to do things. This isn't my junction, is it? They rely so much on technology to do things that they're forgetting how to drive. Perhaps that is what is happening here. You know, GPS, for example. Follow the GPS and oh, the GPS says go here, so they cut across 4 lanes. I've seen this before, particularly on the... You normally see this on, well, normally at major junctions, M1, M25 junction, M4, M25 junction, M1, M6 junction. Not so often on the M1, M6. What other junctions have I seen this at? M40, M42 junction. It certainly happened there. Where else? M5, M42 junction. That's a weird junction, that is. M6, M42 junction, or M6, M6 toll, M42 junction. It's happened there. M62 junction. Which motorway was it with the M62 that I saw it at? So there are a number of junctions where people just sort of seem to just cut across without paying any attention. And again, that's dangerous. It's very dangerous. So for those people who are driving here, be more aware. For example, when I saw that I missed a junction, if I missed a junction in real life, or I came up to a junction, let's say I was in that far lane, that I was in that end lane, and suddenly the junction came up and the GPS said you have to come off at this junction, and there was some traffic, I'm not going to cut across. I know that there are other ways to get to a town or to get back to the junction. If it means going up one junction like I've just done here and coming back, you could do that. Hello, Ford Mondeo. If not, you could go ahead and take the next junction. I've certainly done that around the M25 when I've messed up. It is easy to do those kind of things, but people seem to just follow the GPS without paying any attention to other signage. And I think that is something that also needs to change. And I'm only saying this because of safety. I'm talking from a safety standpoint. It's really, really important that people understand this is dangerous for safety purposes. You've got to be safe on this. Ooh, the truck is doing its wobbly things again. This new physics mod that I'm using is causing me some trouble. It's certainly causing me some trouble. And the other thing is, people who block, and this is a fairly good story to end on. People who block other people. So on country roads, you can overtake people on country roads. There's an area where I've been to where a lot of people like to. It's sort of a hill, about a mile in total, just under a mile actually, and you can see the entire road. A lot of people like to just put their foot down a little bit on this. I'm not condoning speeding, but if you do it, you do it. I cannot actually see. I'm going to just have to. If you're letting me go, thank you so very much. Thank you. Yes, so people like putting their foot down a little bit, and just seeing what their vehicles are capable of. It's actually pretty cool. You sort of put your foot down, and then you get to a speed where you think, okay, I really do not want to go any faster, and then you just slow down, and you just slow back down. So it's just a sort of a 20-second thing. You put your foot down, go fast, slow down again, provided the hill is completely clear. And you can sort of drive. You can overtake other people on this quite easily because it's very easy to see. Anyway, I was on this hill and I wanted to overtake somebody. I didn't want to actually do a substantial amount over the speed limit. I just wanted to overtake somebody who was actually going below the speed limits. I said, look, I'm going to overtake him. I'm going to, I'll creep up to a little bit over the speed limit, overtake him safely, come back in, slow down. That's, I'm not really that fussed. The hill's clear, but I'm not really fussed with this today. So that is what I wanted to do. I hope I'm going into the right place. If I'm not, I'm going to be stuck. I think I am supposed to be going in here. Anyway, so I got alongside this person, and I said, right, I'm just going to overtake him, nice and easy. And he sped up to stop me from overtaking him. So I had to speed up a little bit more, because now there's a car behind as well. So I had to speed up a little bit more. And at this point I'm thinking, this was not my intention to speed up. But I guess I'm going to have to do it. So I said, right, let's speed up a little bit. And so I did. And he sped up more. So now we're doing about 75 miles per hour. Oh, this has got that rear turning. Okay. That explains why this thing turns so well. It's got the rear turning axle. Look at that. I don't know how to control those. I'm very bad at that. Yes, so we're doing about 75 now. Now, for those people who know the speed limit in the UK, country road, not 75, that's for sure. And he just wouldn't let me in. And then at the top of the hill, on the opposite side, and remember, I am on the opposite carriageway here. This is a really important thing to remember. I am on the opposite carriageway. This is not working. I'm not very good at this. I just cannot understand how to. It's turning really weirdly. I wish I could switch those off, maybe. So yes, opposite carriageway, and a car appears at the top of the hill. Yep, still gonna hit. I just don't understand. You know what? Let's do this. There we go. Wait, where am I supposed to be parking? Oh no. I might have messed this up even further. I need to see where I'm going. Okay, this time I should be going the right direction, surely. Surely this isn't going to turn in really weirdly now. No, it's still turning weirdly. Still turning weirdly, still turning weirdly. It's like you could take this thing in sideways. It's like it's drifting. Anyway, as I said, car comes in, opposite carriageway. I'm thinking... This is going to take a while, by the way. I'm so sorry, people. I'm thinking, well, that's not good. That's not good at all. I've got a car now coming up 60 miles per hour in the opposite direction of where I'm going, and that's head on. What do I do? Now, I couldn't get in behind this person again because he just wouldn't let me in, and I have no idea why. I truly have no idea why. I was in my car, he was in like a Tiguan, I think. Nice cars. Was it a Tiguan or a Touareg? One or the other. I'm not able to get this in. This is ridiculous. This is actually ridiculous. Now, look up. Is that going to be... Is that in? Straighten, 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 straighten. Okay, that will do. I'm not trying to fix that any further. Okay, so... What was my... The only option I was left with at that point in time was to put my foot down. Yes, I got some damage on this. There you go, damage penalty. Was to put my foot down. And I had to absolutely floor it to get in front of this guy, so that I didn't hit the oncoming traffic. And I have no idea why he did this. On top of that, he then tailed me all the way to the next couple of roundabouts, and then there was a crawler lane, and I just thought, you know what? I'm not having this guy on my tail. Very uncomfortable, very anxious, very uncomfortable. So I just put my foot down again, just to build up a gap so that there are other cars between me and him. Complete idiot driver. And these are the kind of things that really make driving difficult for a lot of people. There was no reason for it. I wasn't trying to show off my car or mock him. I wasn't trying to speed past him or block him or do anything ridiculous. I was trying to just overtake him at a sensible speed, pull back in and continue on my journey. That was it. But there we go. Hopefully that's given you a little bit of insight into my world. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on Euro Truck Simulator 2. Leave a comment in the comments box below letting me know what you think. Perhaps some stories of your worst experiences on the road. Believe me, I have a lot more of those. If you can do so, please do consider supporting me on Patreon, link in the description box below. Also, you can find me on social media, ECGadget LP for both Twitter and Instagram. There is also a link to my Discord channel. I'm now building a Discord community, and there is a free section available just for anybody to join. So if you want to join and tell your stories on there, please go ahead and do so. You would be very, very welcome in that community. Thank you very much for watching. I'm ECGadget, and I'll see you next time.